Tyrion and Dany are having a conversation, and Tyrion's like, uh-oh, Dany's pretty sad. Dany's having a tough time, and you can see that because her makeup's all different.
We're trying to think of like a way that Varys fits into the end of the story. We couldn't come up with anything. So what we decided to do was just sort of have him make a bunch of bewildering decisions, knowing that he was going to die. And ultimately, this is what we kind of came up with. It's not great, but I mean, who cares? There's one episode left after this.
The thing about Tyrion that we find most annoying is that he's so clever, so we just are trying to tone that way down. And so when Varys comes out to get executed, he's just like, oopsie, I'm sorry. I didn't think this was gonna happen. But if he was smarter, he would have known.
So we just sort of like shoehorned a bunch of friendships together, and showed some clips of, you know, her brother dying and stuff, and we're like, well, let's just see if this matters to people, and it seems like it didn't. So he sees his best friend Tyrion, which we all know they're best friends, and he says, well, time to get going, because what else am I gonna do besides die? And he dies.
We see Jon and Dany, and Dany's all pushing up on Jon. And after we shot the scene, actually after we finished the episode, somebody was like, you did that last episode. And we were like, shit. We already shot that scene.
She says something that really stands out, we thought, in the writing, which was, let it be fear. That's actually a quote from a different show that I really love called Fear. It was on MTV. They would make a bunch of kids go inside of like an abandoned building and make them stay overnight. And that scared the crap out of me. So I was hoping to do the same for our audiences. And I was wrong. So we can kind of see on Dany's face the decision-making process of her deciding to kind of go for it. This whole time she's been so good. She hasn't made a bad decision a single moment throughout the first 8 seasons, and to finally see her make one bad one, I think it's going to be quite a turn for a lot of people. You know, I think nobody saw this coming, which was like probably the biggest surprise is like, she is a Targaryen, and she's the Mad Queen now. Like, surprise! I think we really got a lot of audiences good with this, and I don't know, like, I can't imagine a single person's upset.
Dany's a good guy, she becomes a bad guy. Graham's a good guy, he becomes a bad guy. Jon's friends from the north, they're all good guys, but then they decide to be bad guys. And the Lannister army, they're all bad guys, but they decide to be good guys. And Jon's watching this like, which one should I be? He decides a good guy.
I was actually recently watching the WWE. I'm a huge fan. And a lot of decisions kind of come from the ability to turn heel. And I was like, let's just do that.
In previous seasons, fire has just been made of fire, but now it's made of explosives.
We had a couple people who were really interested in the show, maybe some people you recognized, sort of be extras in this. We had Judge Judy, which was really fun to work with, like a super pleasure.
Arya and the Hound have this conversation where the Hound basically says, look, I have to kill the Mountain because if I don't, I'll be embarrassed in front of all my friends. And Arya's like, well, I have to kill the Queen. And the Hound's like, no, you don't, because you don't have any friends. And he's got her there.
And we actually see that shot of Arya, and she says the word sandal, like a flip-flop. And we just went with it. Throughout the past 8 seasons, he kind of had that part of him turned off. And to see Sandal really go out there, be comfortable, showing love to a person was really moving on Sandal's part.
The Hound is the Mountain's brother, and they just have weird names in that family.
Yeah, Clegane Bowl, which I think is a dumb term. I really hate it. We never planned on doing that. We actually finished the season and we're not filming it. But so many people were talking about it on BuzzFeed, and that's my favorite website. Episode 6 of Star Wars, where Darth Vader takes off his mask and we see him. That's all the mountain is. It's just that thing. The fire, I guess there's something to do with fire. He doesn't like fire, but I don't know. Like, we're just kind of done at that point.
Throughout this scene, Arya is just getting dirtier and dirtier and dirtier, and you really have to hand it to our makeup department for doing that.
Yeah, so right before we started filming this past season, I had to go to Hot Topic because I needed some cologne, and I ran into a high school classmate of mine, Daryl, and Daryl wouldn't shut up about all these ideas he had about the ending of Cersei and Jaime. Honestly, they were all really good, and we had most of them written into the show. And we can't do this because this idiot Daryl basically called everything.
At the end of the show, either you have to be the king or queen or dead. There's no other option. And I think all the characters know that.
So we changed it all. We went with this really kind of stupid thing where they just die in a bunch of rubble.
They could have lived, but they each get like $500,000 an episode. So if we killed them in the second to last episode, we save $1 million.
Daryl texted me like that night, and he was so mad. And you could kind of tell, like, in the text, like when somebody uses periods that they're upset. There's like so many different periods and stuff. So I think I got him. Fucking Daryl.